Water is a necessity to all life on Earth. Without water, humans or any other organism wouldn't be able to survive. Despite the importance of water, humans are the biggest threat to all aquatic systems and their ecosystems that we so desperately depend on. Thanks to organisms like the eastern oyster, the eastern shoreline of the U.S. is being naturally filtered.
They're referred to as the lungs of the bay because they actually clean out the water at a much faster rate than any other organism. So there are other filter feeders, there's clams and mussels, but they don't filter nearly as much water as what an oyster does.
Eastern oysters are found in large amounts within the Chesapeake Bay, an estuary bordering 6 states, including Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. Each oyster can filter 2.5 gallons of water per hour. But they're in trouble mainly because A, the runoff from farms are polluting the water with the herbicide atrazine, and B, humans are over-harvesting them and not recycling their shells.
The farmers put so much on their farmland that when it rains, that ends up in the aquatic system. Well, if it's killing a plant as a producer on land, it's affecting the food for the oysters in the aquatic system too. And so all the food gets diminished, but then on top of that, atrazine is actually poisonous to animals. So oysters being animals, it's toxic to them as well.
Atrazine is one of the world's most commonly used herbicide. It's great for farmers because it allows them to grow crops without the interference of weeds, but it's awful for oysters since they're the ones who filter the runoff that contain these toxins. To help, there are many organizations, both public and private, that are trying to restore the declining oyster reefs. One nonprofit called the Chesapeake Bay Foundation collaborates its efforts with the EPA and USDA to monitor the toxins in the water and monitor the oysters. They also started an oyster shell recycling program where restaurants and the public can discard their oyster shells in bins located all around the DMV. The discarded shells are then brought to labs to regrow genetically modified oysters that are resistant to atrazine. This way, the oysters repopulate and filter the water without being affected by the herbicide.
So it's kind of like this catch-22 of they're great for our ecosystem, but by polluting the ecosystem, we're polluting them.